G'day weebs, we are back again today with episode 8 of the Pharmacy Isekai. Last episode was a little bit interesting, a little bit more about kind of bedside care and how to deal with some difficult customers sometimes. So yeah, that was really interesting. Got a Toonie intern, I think is probably the best way of describing the new part-timer. But we'll see how we go. Hopefully he doesn't get into too much trouble with Noila, but you know, we'll see. We'll find out. Let's jump into it.
よし、できたっと。はい、身代わりノエラ完全版。わ
あ、それってめっちゃノエラさんじゃないですか。
ああ。
I personally do not have like all these extra skills that this guy has as a pharmacist. I can like, I haven't sewn in a while. We'll put it that way.
いらっしゃいませ。バルガスさんちの執事さん。レーンです。失礼いたします。今日はまた何か？はい、レイジ様。我が主がお呼びでございます。
Vane was the this chick's. Whoop. All right, skip the opening. So we're gonna see this chick again, or his dad, her dad.
君の店で仕事体験できたようで本当に感謝している。
いや今日は俺にどういったご用件で？
そのことである。実は近頃娘のエレインが私を避けるようになってな。
Maybe because he's creepy.
ボケるな。お前の企みは分かっている。娘が欲しいのなら私を倒してからです。
Okay, so sometimes you do get people who will accuse you of like the stupidest shit, honestly. You will get customers that accuse you of you know, mostly it's like trying to cheat them out of something or trying to be dishonest, I think is probably the most diplomatic way of saying it. And the easiest way to be able to refute these claims is just to not be dishonest and try to add nuance to your answers wherever possible and not intentionally mislead people. Yeah, pretty much it. And then you can say with good conscience, I didn't mislead you. You must have heard it somewhere else or something must have happened, but it's not my fault. And yeah, you'll get people who want to be confrontational with you. Unfortunately, that's just way of life of working in retail sometimes. And yeah, most of the time they will think very highly of themselves.
そのいわゆる思春期の女の子は一時的に父親の性的な一面を嫌う傾向があるものだと聞きます。
I mean, teenagers, like, just in general, don't like their parents.
私、パパのお嫁さんになる。
そうかそうか。
You should get rid of the mustache man. It's probably the mustache man.
どこの世界でも年頃の女の子にはお父さんと洗濯物一緒にしないで的な時期があるでしょう。
Very true. Personal boundaries, man. Personal boundaries. Very important.
はい。どうされましたの、お父様。
これがお父さんの洗濯物に紛れていたのだが。
Bro! Why would you do that to her? Holy crap. Yeah, fair enough. I can see why.
まるでゴミを見るような目でエレインは私を。
でしょうね。
だが、あの手の下着はエレインには早い。
Well, then don't buy it for her. She didn't get the money from you or from someone. She has to have gotten the money from someone.
もちろん。
それ一番やっちゃダメなやつですよ。
Yeah.
そうなのか。
This guy is just a bad dad. But he can get better. He can get better, you know, with advice and time. And, you know, the willingness to learn.
そこに異性を1ミリも感じたくないのです。
では私は娘に嫌われてしまったのか。
レイジ様。
ああ、エレイン。
執事に聞きましたの。
At least he cares about how his daughter thinks of him, I think. Maybe a little bit too much, I don't know. Who knows?
いや、それは。
だいたい想像はつきますわ。レイジ様、不潔なお父様とではなく、
不潔。
私の部屋で私とお話をしましょう。
あ、でも。
早く。
Maybe she just wants to do. It's completely old. It's possible. But I think more probable just hates her parents.
お父さん今頃泣いてるぞ。
ですけれど。
お父さんにも悪いところはあるんだけど、嫌いってわけじゃないんだろ。
それはもちろんですわ。
じゃあ後で謝りに行こうな。
Most teenagers are not this agreeable. They will be aware, but they won't admit it publicly anyway. I still don't see. So he's got involved with like family matters and things like that. I still don't see how he can help the situation with being a pharmacist or whatever. It's not his place in some ways. Once you've kind of determined that it is out of your wheelhouse, which this probably is, I would say, apart from trying to maybe try and fix the situation in the pharmacy, it's probably best to hand it off to a counselor or a family counselor or something like that, because this isn't your area of expertise, and there are other health professionals that are more suited and trained to deal with it than you are. Because yeah, you're a pharmacist, you're not a counselor or a therapist or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know what he plans to do. I don't know why they're bringing out the deodorant now, unless the dad is like stinky or something. He thinks maybe puberty is something to do with like pheromones or something. I don't know.
エジルさんとしてはノエラさんの香りの方が喜ぶんでしょうけど。
ノエラの香りの方が喜ぶ。
Well, yeah, he fucking likes her.
できるぞ。
What is he doing? What is he making? Okay, I'm going to assume this is like, where's the pat on the back? I want the pat on the back. Come on. None of this cooking shit. Pat back. No? Oh my god. Anyway. Maybe he's making a perfume to make the dad smell better? Or smell better than smell like Elaine? I don't know. Oh crap.
ボディーソープムッシュ。汗などの匂いを無臭にし、殺菌する。
Oh yeah, deodorant and things like that.
なるほど。これを使うだけでエレインが私のことを大好きになる。
I spilt my drink a little bit. Oh shit. Now we're good. Woo.
どうです？いい香りしませんか？
さっぱりとした良い香りだ。
騙されたと思って使ってみてください。
They are actually like odorless, like deodorant soaps that do sort of work. Not necessarily as a deodorant, but sometimes they work better than other soaps. It really depends on body chemistry, that kind of thing. So yeah, these things do kind of work, but they're more likely to be liquids than necessarily a bar. There are definitely odorless soaps that are bars of soap, that kind of thing. But in terms of trying to remove odors, things like that, generally tend to be more of a liquid form, easier to mix together the chemicals in the right way and perform the right chemical reactions as a liquid rather than a solid. Because if you've taken like high school chemistry, all soaps pretty much are esters, and it is pretty hard if you have to be within that one specific chemical reaction, when it's a lot easier just in general to be able to mix it as a liquid. Yeah.
私は騙されるのが嫌いなんだ。
じゃあどうしましょう。このままだと二人の関係はます
I
ます
spilt some Sprite. That's what I was talking about.
娘さんは二度と会話どころか目さえ合わせてくれないかもしれません。
絶対使う。誰か弱みの支度をしろ。
あれ、おかしいな。
Oh, he shaved off the mustache. I don't know if I would say handsome, but better.
まれ変わったこの僕は
声も口調もキャラも変わってる。
これならエレインにも嫌われないかな。
どうでしょう。
He's kind of creepy.
これでエレインがめちゃくちゃ嫌がりそう。
Probably, yeah. He's a little bit odd now.
何のご用です？
Nah. Bad dad. Bad dad, bad dad.
何やってるんですか。
錬金術師、なぜ邪魔をする。
当然でしょう。いきなり抱きつくなんて。エレインさんびっくりしてるじゃないですか。大丈夫か。
レイジ様。
娘から離れろ、錬金術師。
娘？もしかしてお父様？
そうさ、エレイン。僕さ
なぜあの口調にあのポーズ。これは俺も乗らなきゃダメなやつか。せっかくだ。
This is why I was like, don't get involved. It's not your place. It's not a pharmacist's place. It's not a pharmacist's job at this point. Yeah, this is weird, but you know, isekai, we'll roll with it.
では娘はもらっていくぞ、カスティ。
貴様、本性を表したな。
今頃気づいたか。この娘を籠絡し、一緒になれば貴族の仲間入りってわけだ。
一緒になるということはレイジ様と嬉しいですわ。
おい、俺は秋山だから。ときめくな。
何するんですの。
娘をもてあそんだ罪、万死に値する。
レイジ様に危害を加えることは私。
Wow, she's really head over heels for
俺
him.
の味方するなって。プランがめちゃくちゃじゃないか。
私はプラン通りですわ。お父様がお認め。
All according to Keikaku. All according to Keikaku. Holy crap. Why is it coming to this?
にならなければこのまま駆け落ちを。
頼む、黙っててくれ。おいカスティ。娘には嫌われていたんだろう。臭いだのキモいだの変態じじいだの草虫だの言われ。
そこまで言われてない。
ですわよ。
こんな娘本当はいない方がいいんじゃないか。俺がもらって。
私はエレインがいない方がいいな。
This is some like theater kid level, drama kid level, like acting right now.
避けられたりして傷つくことがないわけではない。だがそれが何だというのだ。エレインが私のことを嫌がるのは一時のことだと信じているよ。私はエレインが何をしようとも一生味方だ。愛しているよ、エレイン。
I can't believe that worked. I don't know. I have no words. I am speechless.
ごめんなさい。私お父様にひどい。
Got the strings going in the background. The real sympathetic high strings for the emotional highlight.
お父様のこの良い香り、私が使っている香水と同じですわ。レイジ様、あら？
Your husband left you.
レイジ様。
Oh, I mean fiance.
2日後、漁師から手紙が届いた。感謝の言葉と娘はやらんという内容だった。先日のあれは芝居で、娘さんをもらうつもりはないから。
Yeah, that was some theater kid acting, man. I mean, it works, so I can't really blame you, but you know. That's pretty good, I suppose. You got the job done. Good enough, you know?
お芝居じゃなくてもいいのにな。
Well, then you gotta be a good little girl, hey? And grow up and not be like 15 or whatever.
レイジさん。
ああ、ごめん。起こしちゃったかな。昼飯作ったんだけど食べられそう。
I didn't know ghosts could get sick.
しかし、みんなが熱出すなんて珍しいな。幽霊なのに。
Exactly. She's a ghost. What the
さあ
hell?
昼飯、ここに置くね。お、
食べさせてください。
お、自分じゃ無理っぽい。
そういうわけではないんですけど、こういう時は甘えたくなるんです。だから。
どう？あんまり自信ないんだけど。
美味しいですよ。お塩の加減もちょうどいいです。
よかった。はい。
Like some congee. I could go for some congee right now. Congee would be nice. Although it is getting into spring.
ずっと昔、私が使ってたんです。ずっとここで見続けて見飽きてしまった天井。全然変わってないです。
You lived over 100 years ago. It has to have changed somewhat.
いつもお母さんが私の看病をしてくれて、いっぱい迷惑をかけてしまって、結局私は誰よりも早く病気で死んでしまって。
This is some heavy stuff for like not just an anime, but like for the characters, for a pharmacist as well. Considering this guy is supposed to be like a salaryman from Japan or whatever, and he's been thrust into an isekai, which they haven't ever really addressed with how he's dealt with that. But apparently he's just adjusted fine. Anyway.
世に向かって何という態度だ、貴様。世が魔王ガローエジルと知っての言動か。何それ、美味しいの？何？ミコト、ノエラちゃんサンキュー。じゃあまたね。店長によろしく。まったく無礼な客ばかりだ。
This is the coffee, anyway.
先生、主、みんなどう？
今はぐっすり寝てる。
治る？
風邪はなんとかな。ただもっと根本的な問題がある。なあエジル、このメモに書いた素材を集めてほしい。集めたら
He has lingering regrets. That's her fundamental issue.
身代わりノエラじゃなく本物の方だ。
What a tunie.
よし、ノエラ、ちょっと手伝ってくれ。よいしょっと。こっちだ、ノエラ。この家は100年前、ミナの家族が住んでいたという。そしてこの部屋はミナのお母さんが使っていた部屋。きっと何か使えそうなものがあるはずだ。
Hang on. What was the part's name again? 3-minute revive, I think? 3-minute something. Is he gonna like revive the mom somehow? Yeah, 3-minute revive. So how's he gonna fix the mom? Or is he fixing Mina? Is that what the revive means? Like, but then he said the cold wasn't the problem. He said there was a deeper fundamental problem. And judging from Mina's like talking, it must be the mom, right? And regrets, you know, like in Angel Beats. Maybe she'll move on as soon as she fixes her regrets. Oh, Angel Beats. That was quick.
よし、揃った。助かったよ、エジル。
ございます。それで、例の約束は。
ああ、ただノエラが許すかどうかは。
尻尾？ノエラ。いや。
Well, I mean, he got to touch it. His face touched the tail as it slapped him. There are some weird fucking like steps in this like production process. Like the wine mashing stuff with her feet or whatever is weird.
ああ、その薬を数滴。これにかければ、ミナのお母さんを3分間だけ具現化できる。
I'm just going to put a disclaimer here that we have not yet developed this technology, and I don't think it's actually possible. So we will continue on with this theoretical revival from a book of a presence. Yeah, I think the closest we would get is maybe there's been a lot of trying to experiment with like human brain cells in like petri dishes and things like that to see if you can reconstruct like brain structures and things like that. It's not going very well at the moment, obviously, but that's probably the closest you can get. Don't think we got anything like this anytime soon, though. We can just drop some liquid on like an old book and get people to come back alive for however long. Maybe it's like a ghost or something. I don't know.
おそらくミナのお母さんの日記帳だ。
How is she not? Oh, right, because she died before her mom. Fair enough. But she's been in this house for like 100 years.
薬を使うかどうかはミナの気持ち次第だ。
Also, I don't see how this helps her current condition. I mean, he said her cold would be fine, but anyway. Wouldn't it be easier to wait until, like, she's not dying or, like, sick? Just my 2 cents.
わかった。じゃあ今言った通り、その薬を日記に振りかけるんだ。俺は向こうに行ってるから。
レイジさん、その
I really can't tell if this is supposed to be a harem or not. Like, I'm not getting... There are definitely romantic undertones for a lot of the female characters, but they're not, like, overt about it. Maybe I'm just... Maybe it's because of Infinite Stratus all those years ago and all the other stupid main characters who just pretend like they don't see shit. I don't know. Ooh! Oh, it's her mum.
どうして治ったと思えばまた違う病。薬を買うお金なんてうちにはもう残ってないのに。ごめんなさい。主人も看病は私に任せっぱなしだし、どうして私ばっかり。そうだよね。私いつもベッドにいた。隣にはお母さんがいた。看病大変だったよね。本当にごめんなさい。なんで？どうして良くならないの？私に言わないで。好きでそうなったんじゃないのに。薬はどうして効かないの？知らない。お医者さんもわからないとおっしゃるし、もうどうしたらいいのか。だから私はみんなより早く死んじゃったじゃない。お母さんもその方が良かったんでしょ。みんなの邪魔をしないし、迷惑をかけることもないんだから。みんな、どうして私より早く行ってしまうの？
Is this a conversation or not? I don't think this is a conversation, because I think it's like a recording of like the journal or something. Because it definitely doesn't sound like the mum is responding to Mina specifically. But I will point out that the good thing that even though the pharmacist got told to stay with, you know, the patient during this hard time, which sometimes happens, more likely it'll be where the doctor is with the patient and the patient has someone else rather than necessarily the pharmacist or whatever. But I guess in this case it makes sense because the pharmacist is a close personal friend. Yeah, but he's shutting up. He's not interrupting or anything. He's just letting the information kind of process through Mina's mind. Yeah, there's not much else you can do. Again, not your area of expertise. It's not your place to try to what's the word? Offer platitudes, I suppose, while something is actively happening. You don't know the situation. Keep out of it until some point in time where it does become your business. Which obviously in the healthcare industry gets pretty hard sometimes when it comes to delivering bad news. Thankfully, I've not had to do it very often, and certainly not to the gravest extent, because I only worked in community, where most of the time, if it needed to be escalated, I had somewhere I could escalate to without it getting too bad. So I've never had to face the most serious of those types of discussions, but it certainly has happened in community where sometimes people have a hard time coming to terms with certain diagnoses, and maybe they didn't process it in the doctor's office, and it's only while you're actually handing the medication to them for that diagnosis where it really hits them. They're like, oh, I have this, you know, condition for however long it may be, and I'm going to have to live with that, and how do I live with that, and things like that. And that's where you can be of some use, where you can walk them through how to use the medication, how they can live their best life without the diagnosis necessarily being too much of a handicap, I suppose. especially when it gets to older people, and their sons or daughters come in who themselves are in their 40s, maybe 50s, and they're coming to terms with, my parents are in like what's the word? Intellectual decline. There we go. You know, they have dementia or Alzheimer's or something, and they need help managing their medications now, which means that we have to pack them from like a Webster pack. So it's like Monday to Friday, breakfast, lunch, dinner, with all the different pills and things that they need to take. So it's a lot easier for them to just pop out the thing. I'll put a picture up here. Up here? Yeah, that way. About what a Webster pack looks like. But yeah, like 40, 50-year-old sons and daughters of these people will come in and be like, I don't know how to deal with this. And most of the time they realize it's not your place or your fault. That's what's happening. And that honestly, you probably can only offer platitudes in response. But some of them do just need someone that they can listen to. And more often than not, since you're a pharmacist as a healthcare professional, you are probably the best person that they can open up to, because you are fairly anonymous and you have that obligation for patient confidentiality, and you are seen as someone who can be trusted, and it is important that you don't violate that trust, whether that be through, you know, the sharing of grievances of what's the word? Not unsureties, I suppose, of being, you know, doubtful about things, of the science behind medications, of how to use medications, that kind of thing. And you need to be able to uphold that, as does every other healthcare professional. Every healthcare professional has that kind of responsibility to not misrepresent anyone's health to them in a way that would be detrimental, or misrepresented at all, really. Not just if it was detrimental, even if it was like helpful, really, unless it is for a very good reason. Yeah, that's why most of the time, like, people will say you have to ask them. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question for you, because it's not our place to maybe answer it for them. They might know like a little bit of the story, but we can't elaborate unless the patient gives us the okay to. Or it becomes obvious, like, who's the guardian of the person. Say, for example, like a baby or a kid can't really, like, talk for themselves. But if it came to, like, a 16, 17, 18, sometimes even as low as 14, because I think the youngest you can get your own Medicare card is 14? I can't remember. But as soon as they get their own Medicare card, and they're looking after their own medical care, that's their business. It's not their parents' business or anyone else's business. Youngest age. Yeah, it's not their business for or whoever wants to know about it. So yeah.
みんなにはこれからたくさん幸せなことが待ってるはずなのに、結局私はあなたを幸せにしてあげられなかった。
15. So 15, they can get their own Medicare card. And they can go see and access health services by themselves. I shouldn't be talking over this.
みながいて幸せだったんだと思う。嘘ばっかり。だって私、あなたがいなくなって今とても寂しいんですもの。いつかあなたに恋人ができて、その人と結婚することになったら渡すはずだったあのブローチ。ブローチ？私も結婚するとき、母からもらったの。母も私の祖母からもらったそうよ。その時、母から聞いたわ。ブローチの意味を。意味？幸せになってね。
Can't you just put some more on it? Sorry. You shouldn't interrupt. Oh, my bad.
ありがとうございました。
お母さんに会えてよかったな。はい。
お母さん、私幸せだよ。
ずっと空き家だったこの家で、ミナと初めて出会った時。
Yeah. I think for a isekai, that was probably the best you could get away with in terms of the what's the word? In terms of the emotional impact. In this particular series, it hasn't been particularly heavy. It's been pretty upbeat most of the time, honestly. So yeah, that was good. It didn't try to be too serious about it. By, you know, going into, you know, really heavy topics like nihilism, all the rest of it. Fairly good. Respected the content, I think. Yeah, that elicited some emotional response. I don't think it was, obviously it didn't have that much impact because we don't really know these characters, to be honest. We haven't really had much interaction on a character basis because it's more like a, what's the word? It's more like it's not even a character drama. It's just, you know, different people coming with different problems, right? Every episode. So we don't really spend time with the main cast all that much to get into, you know, their real, like, desires, thoughts, fears, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think that was good. That was executed okay. And it does add a little bit of context, a little bit more color to Mina's character. I really hope she doesn't end up, like... I really hope this series doesn't end up with, like, lots of female characters professing love for this dude. Because that would be very trite, I think. And overplayed in a lot of different anime, obviously. But she's not a ghost. She's a guardian spirit, is what she said. Okay. Oh. Okay. I think that was pretty cool. Got a little more color to Mina's character. I think if we had more time with Mina and Noila, that would have been more impactful than necessarily with all the other characters, that kind of thing, and different customers. And it looks like we'll get a late character. Well, yeah, that episode was okay. Probably not my favorite one. I think the way that they handled some of the emotional stuff was pretty good, and fairly realistic. At least in terms of how a pharmacist would, or any healthcare professional really would try and deal with those situations. I think the first half where Elaine and her dad are like having a little bit of a family fight because of teenage puberty. I think that was probably a little bit more exaggerated in terms of how deeply involved a healthcare professional would get involved in that case. Definitely wouldn't be up to the pharmacist or a doctor. That would be a family therapist or a counselor or something at that point. If it really got to the point where it was causing major familial dysfunction. Anyway, so this was episode 8. Hope you enjoyed it. We've got another 4 episodes to go because I think it ends on the 12th episode. And those will hopefully come out all by the time of the 3rd of October, which will also be the week before the first 20 anime of fall 2021 comes out. So by the end of that week, I hope to have some first impressions of all the first episodes of those anime then, and I will see you then. But hope you enjoyed it. If you missed the other episodes in the series, I've got them all in a nice playlist for you down below. Let me know if you have any questions about anything pharmacy related, or indeed anything that's been shown in this episode, and I'll see if I can answer those to the best of my ability. Leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. See you guys.